Whereas leadership is about coping with change. It's about innovation, positioning your team for the future, looking ahead.
Okay, so complexity versus change. But what happens in practice with new managers?
Well, they tend to focus overwhelmingly on the complexity part, making the numbers, putting out fires, dealing with the immediate stuff. Understandably, perhaps?
But they neglect the leadership side, the change part.
Often, yes. They tend to see themselves as targets of change coming down from their bosses, rather than agents who should be initiating change within their own teams.
And that imbalance, focusing only on complexity while also feeling that pressure of depending on others, that sounds incredibly stressful.
It is, and that's where the personal cost really shows up. The sources talk about real psychological symptoms, insomnia, anxiety.
And isolation. Right, that quote, "I'm no longer one of the boys, no one gossips with me, I'm alone." It's like they lose their work friends overnight.
They really do feel that way. And they learn pretty quickly that the formal authority, the title on the door, it's actually a pretty limited source of real power.
So what do they need then, if not just the title?
They need to build genuine influence. And that comes from credibility, proving competence, showing good motives, being trustworthy, and building networks, connections beyond just their direct reports.
Which leads them eventually to this kind of core managerial paradox.
Yes, the realization that treating people fairly actually means treating them differently.
Because you can't manage the star performer who needs autonomy the same way you manage the new hire who needs close guidance.
Exactly. You have to tailor your approach. And accepting you have to constantly balance these fundamental tensions, corporate needs versus people's needs, short-term results versus long-term development. That's the final stage, really.
Learning to live with imperfection, with ambiguity.
That's the ultimate insight. You have to manage the trade-offs, accept imperfect solutions sometimes. It's an ongoing iterative process. You're constantly learning, and a big part of it is actually unlearning that old identity of being the star producer.
You have to embrace being, a manager, a business person responsible for a whole system.
Couldn't have said it better. It's about learning from experience continuously.
Okay, so if becoming a successful manager means learning to balance conflicting demands and live with imperfect solutions, here's something for you, the listener, to think about. What's one tension or conflict in your own work right now that you're maybe trying too hard to solve perfectly? What if, instead, you focused on just managing the necessary trade-off? That's your deep dive homework.